Welcome to using Excel in stat calculations. So this is going to be very helpful in calculating things like the mean, median and mode. So I'm not sure how much experience you've had with spreadsheets, but they're very handy in using data sets because the spreadsheet can do calculations for you. Let's have a look at how we can set it up. So here's a blank page in Excel. So let's say we'll come up the top here and we'll put in our scores. So let's have a heading score. This is our data set, and I'm going to make up some numbers here: 23, 45, 36, 12, 28, 78, 45, 34, 67, and let's say another 45. Okay, so there's our little data set. It could be bigger than that if we wanted to, and let's say we want to do some calculations on it. So let's work out the mean. So we could type in there mean, and over here we're going to calculate the mean of that data set. So for a spreadsheet to do calculation, you must put in equals. It's a signal to the software there that in this cell the spreadsheet is to calculate something and put the answer. So you must always have that equals there. And with the Excel, the mean is called the average. So we're going to put in the average, and it tells you what this is here. And then we put a bracket and say we want to average A2, that's that cell, down to A11. So put that in A2 and then colon A11, and we've got it there. Okay, so look at the syntax: equals, average, bracket, A2 to A11, because we're in column A, and that's what we're doing there, and it's highlighted that. So if we push enter, we get that answer. Now, you might like to change the number of figures here. How detailed do you want it? 41.3. You can change the number of decimal places. So let's go home and right across to format and format cells. And we'll come down to number, and you can put however many decimal places you want. Decimal places 2 or 1, or you could put no decimal places. Usually we would just have that one decimal place, wouldn't we? Because we have 3 significant figures. So let's go back. There it is again. Home. Come right across to format and down to format the cells. And generally we do have 3 places, so we'll go up and do 1 decimal place. We have 3 figures, in the answer. So 41.3. Okay, so that's our mean. Let's see if we can calculate the median. So let's go in here to median. And over here we've got to do a calculation, so I have to put equals. And we'll put in median. And up it comes, yes, see? It tells you what it is, the middle of the set, and you do the same thing again. So it's A2 to A11, and we can push enter, and we have a median of 40.5. When they're all put in order, there are 11 scores. There are 10 scores, 2 to 11, 10 scores, yep, inclusive. So this is halfway between the middle two. Okay, halfway between the middle two. And this one here, the mode now, let's get it to calculate the mode for us. And so over here we put equals mode, and it tells you what it is. And again, it's A2 to A11. And if we do that, we get a mode of 45. Does that agree? Let's see how many 45s there are. Yes, there are more 45s than anything else. If there's more than one mode, it'll choose the lower one. So Excel is a bit not so useful for several modes. If several scores occur the same number of times, then it doesn't have the capacity to list all those out. Okay. So how do you like that? That's pretty convenient, isn't it? What about when we have a frequency of scores? So let's just delete some of this stuff. Okay, so we'll just backspace on all of that and come down here. And all right, so now let's say these scores occurred more than once, so we'll put in a frequency column for each of these. Now we've got several occurring a different number of times, so let's just put a different data set in, and we'll put it in order, because usually with a group data we have ordered it first, haven't we, as it goes up. So let's put in an ordered data set here, something like this, 54, 65, 77. Okay, so we've got our data in order because that's usually what we would do, and then they occur a different number of times. So this one occurs twice, this one, let's say, 3 times, this one twice, 5 times, 4 times, twice, 3, let's say 5 times, 6 times, 3 times that. Okay, so there's our frequency table. We would have had a tally column, wouldn't we, from the work that we did before. Now, what do you do to get the mean? So we can multiply the score by the frequency. That's what we want to do. So we might say here for a start, let's go down here, totals. We want the totals. So we want to know how many scores there were. So we're going to ask the spreadsheet to add up all these here, because these are the number of times each of the scores occurred. So total number of measurements was the sum of that frequency. So let's tell the spreadsheet to do that. Equals sum, and here we are, of this time it's a B column. So it's B2 to B11, like that. And if we do that, there are 35 scores. Now, we don't want 0.0, do we? So let's go up to Home and right across to Format, and format that cell. And we don't want any decimal points there because it's a whole number. Okay, no decimal points. So the 0 doesn't mean anything there. All right, so now what we want to do is to multiply the score by how many times it occurs, so we can get the total values recorded, the total scores, the total value of all the scores, let's say. So if over here we want to tell the spreadsheet, so it's equals, we want the spreadsheet to multiply B2, the frequency, by the score. So frequency, hang on, no, come back up here. I messed that up, hang on. Just get in here now. So we don't want that. So we want B2, and with spreadsheets it's the asterisk, which is shift a 8 key on the keyboard, B2 times A2. So that is going to multiply, and I've left out a bracket in there. So B2 times A2, you don't really need the bracket there. Okay, so if we push enter, yes, 2 lots of 23 was 46. So that's what we wanted to do. All right, so if we now take their crosshairs and just put them there and drag that down, here's a neat little property of a spreadsheet. You can make it do for all these rows the same operation, that times that, that times that. So you've copied the formula down, and each particular one it will do the same formula for. So let's click off of that, and we've got our frequency times our score. So now what do we want to do to calculate the mean? Well, in this little box here, we could put our total for that. So equals, you want all of these added up for the total values of the scores. So equals sum of, what is it now? Column C, C2 to C11, C2 to C11, like that. And if we push enter, we get that. So what would the mean be? So we might put down here the mean, and next to it equals So what do we want? We want the total of all the scores, so that's that one there. That's C12 divided by how many scores there were. So it's C12 slash is the symbol we use for division in spreadsheeting, and divided by B12. Okay, how many scores there were. You could put a bracket, or you don't need a bracket really. So we've got a mean of 46.34. Well, that's very untidy, so let's take it to 3 figures. So that'll be 1 decimal place. So come up to home again, right across over here, format the cells. There we have it. And the number, we want only 1 decimal place. And there we have it. So now it's nice and neat. There's the mean, 46.3. Now, you can't easily do the median and the mode. You'd have to list all the scores out. They are in order here. So if they're in order, what have we got? 35 scores. Add 1, that's 36. Divide by 2 is 18. So what's the 18th score? There's 2, 5, 7, 12, 16, 17, 18 are both in that group there. That's 45. So the median of this data set, you don't have to list it all out, is 45. Okay, and similarly the mode you'll have to do again by hand, basically going through and seeing which one occurred most frequently. Well, there it is there. 65 was the mode, so we can just enter that there. No equal sign because we're not asking the spreadsheet to do any calculation itself. So to get that idea, if the data set is in order as it normally is in a frequency table, we would then just find that 35, add 1, 36, so it's the 18th score is exactly in the middle, and come down and find the 18th score, which is a 45. Okay, so to get the idea, pretty handy stuff, and then you could save that. So I hope you have found that fairly simple. Just remember a couple of little basics, and that is you must always put equals when you're asking the spreadsheet up here. See, it's up here also. I mentioned that before. So when you're asking a spreadsheet to do a calculation, and then just be careful with the syntax, with the brackets and that for average. We didn't use it in this one because we had to do the totals ourselves here, and it's the total scores, the total value of the scores, divided by how many there were. Well, there we are. I hope you have fun with that in your middle school statistics calculations. That and working with graphics display calculators are very powerful methods, as well as being able to do it by hand, of course. You must know what's going on. All right, cheers for now. Catch you in a later presentation.